Norland is a game full of stories, fighting, disagreements, and lots of wood cutting. I've had the pleasure of playing through the start of this game a couple of times, and I wanted to share with you some early game knowledge. Let's go! Hi, it's Drax. This is the part at the beginning of the video that everyone skips. For those of you that didn't jump forward, enjoy watching and listening. Might you consider supporting me further by visiting my Ko-fi or clicking on the join button on this video? Alright, that's it. Back to the video. I'm making this video based off of my observations in the game. Some of the game's mechanics and processes need a little time to sink in and understand. Here are some things I learned, in no particular order, playing Norland. The first stop after hitting New Game is the family settings. There are lots of options to soak in on this page. The first section on the left is family members. I've played a couple of different combos here, but I'm not sure if it really matters. This setting feels more like a personal preference to me. I usually just stick with the first option, as it's nice to have 3 able-bodied lords at the start. Do you have a favorite? You can change the name and appearance of each of your lords by clicking on them on the left. There's not a whole lot of options here when it comes to customization, but it's enough to tell who's who at a glance when trying to find the king. The random name generation is fun, so many great names. I probably spend way too much time just generating new names. Each lord has their own set of skills. They can be adjusted by using the arrows next to the numbers. You have a limited amount, so choose wisely. The skills settings are truly up to you, and your choices will determine the type of play. Each of the skills has benefits. Some are very clear. Trade, teaching, and combat need no explanation, whereas others, manners, persuasion, require me to read the tooltip a couple of times. I'm not a fighter, so I've been leaning into the first 3 so I can use my silver tongue to get what I want. At the bottom we have character traits. This is my favorite part of this opening screen. There are some tough decisions that need to be made here. The top drop down is the positive traits and the bottom are the negative. Do yourself a favor and read each of them. The top traits are straightforward and lighthearted. The bottom ones are a bit darker. Beware that while some traits don't seem like they'd be negative, trust me, they are. Alright, everyone's set. We'll hit continue. Now you're presented with a map. Each region of the map has a name, and under that name, a difficulty level. It's completely up to you which region you pick first. And if you're planning on playing the game through, you'll get your chance to play them all. Okay, I've clicked on Silverhaven. I like this region. The mountains in the south just make me feel safe. The detail for the region is now showing. Here we can change the name, see the resources, change what the first and second village will output. I will keep it all default. Of course, the most important part is setting a banner. Oh, and yes, you should change the name of the region. It just makes it easier when you're getting attacked to know that it's you being sieged. Clicking next brings up the game parameters. All of these options are your personal preference. I'll start with prisoner scenario, no modifiers, although excess iron is so nice. No crisis, I don't need any more drama in my life. The difficulty I will set to normal. I know I said no combat, but this is medieval times! Plus, I love the little armor and sword graphics. Gold is set to max. I wish I could fund more. There's never enough gold in this game. Finally, we're ready to start the game. The first tip I'm going to give you here is by far the most important. Well, yeah, the most important. Lumber mills are the key to the whole game. Just like how the ox in Manor Lords is the linchpin in winning the game, I would argue that the lumber mill, especially in the early game, is the key to success. My advice is to build 2 at the start. Find a nice wooded area and place them. As your village grows and you have more peasants, build a couple more. You need wood for everything, and it goes so fast. And remember, you can never have enough wood. Oh, and you might think, well, if I need more, I can just buy it. Think again. It's super expensive. Something I missed the first time playing, probably because I didn't read the help message, was how important the warehouse is to the village. When you click on a production building, like this lumber mill here, you will see some info in the bottom left labeled Workers' Road Time. There are 2 things being measured here. The time to the peasant's house and the time it takes to carry the goods to the warehouse. Keeping both these numbers low is the goal. At the start of the game, the warehouse distance is measured to the main hall. You can bring this number down by building a warehouse closer. Be aware that the warehouse requires workers and lords, so you need to be strategic in the placing. Having them well placed will save you time and speed up production. I guess what I'm saying here is warehouses equal more wood. Build an altar early. My first couple of plays, I held out building one because I thought food and wood were more important. While that is true, religion in Norland is equally as important as eating and keeping warm. The altar is a quick build and will hold over your populace until you can afford to build a temple. The early game is a bit of a juggle when it comes to what to build first. The altar is at the top of that list. When your people are not complaining about a lack of God in their life, you'll thank me. Everyone is connected in Norland, which is to say interpersonal relationships between lords and peasants and lords are real. Some have said that this part of the game seems a bit too micromanagey. Early on, I think it can feel that way. But as you play the game, I think you'll see just how fun this part of the game can be. I'm not saying that dealing with these fine folks is easy, but part of the game is how in which everyone gets along. Honestly, I find myself letting some of the mayhem just run its course. Just see what happens. Much like in RimWorld, people will have problems with their environment or each other. Some things you'll be able to remedy, but some things just need to happen. It's all part of the game's charm. As I said before, money in the early game is hard to come by. You can make money in various ways in the game. I found that setting up a trade agreement is a way to start bringing in consistent gold. The first step in setting up trade is scanning the map to see what goods your neighbors are looking to buy. Open the world map, and under the names of each of the kingdoms you should see two icons. These represent what they're selling and buying. In the early game, there's not a lot you'll be able to sell, so you'll need to sell them something easy to produce, like moonshine. In true Norland fashion, you'll likely need to make friends with the neighboring lord before you'll be able to trade with them. I think you know what that means. Hunting party. Once you've made friends, you can now set up and agree to the trade. Now, you'll just need to produce the agreed to amount each month to get paid. Don't worry if you can't produce that set amount right from the start. The agreement will stay in place. You only get paid when you deliver the goods. Having this extra income will help you buy more books and rings. Books and rings! Great transition. I'm going to keep this short. The ring mechanic in the game is not my favorite. My parents always told me, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Books are used to gain knowledge in the game. They are the research tree of Norland. The money you gather throughout the early game will be used to buy more books. When the traveling salesman comes to town, always be buying books. A final note on books, there are a lot of books to buy. The order in which you buy them, which is to say which books to grab and study first, is up for debate. I'd like to hear your thoughts and strategies on buying books. Please share them with me. If you watch my videos or tune into my live stream, you'll know I love roads. Norland has some great roads, and they have a real benefit in the game. The one downside is that they cost money to place. My argument here, though, is that the 60% boost you get in movement, yes, 60% is worth the cost. Moving goods and people faster equals more money. Be careful, though. Don't bankrupt yourself laying roads. Keep an eye on your bank, and when you have extra gold, place those roads. Oh, did I mention they come in different colors? They do, and it's fabulous. My final tip is more of a question for you, or maybe more a question for the game dev. I love this game, and I'm having a blast playing it. The only area of the game that has me confused and somewhat frustrated is the statistics tab. In making this video, I really wanted this section to be me explaining to you about how to see the perfect overview of your kingdom. But every time I open this tab, it spawns more questions than answers. Some of the important information is here, but other vital info like how much we consumed each day is on the item on the left side of the screen. The stats page also has some info I don't know what to do with, and just really isn't that helpful. I think maybe this is just a case of everyone sees things differently. To the developer, this information works and is key to the gameplay. I just find myself opening this tab and longing for better data. Or maybe just consolidate it all into one sheet. Am I alone? Anyone else feeling this? There are my musings about the start of Norland. I think like most games these days, you should not be afraid to restart this game. In my last couple runs, I got to a point and I was just like, yep, it's time for a restart. In each restart, I got just a bit better, which means I had more wood. All right, what did I miss? Have some Norland knowledge for me? Leave a comment below. As always, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.
The video's over. Now it's time for you to do your part. Follow, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.